Your brain burns through more energy than almost any organ in your body, but most magnesium supplements can't even reach it. But there's one form that was designed by MIT researchers specifically to get past that barrier. I'm Dr. Elizabeth Miller, and today I'll show you what it does. Magnesium L-Threonate is one of the newer forms of magnesium on the market. It was developed by researchers at MIT who are interested in a simple question. What if low magnesium levels inside of the brain contribute to cognitive decline? The challenge is that while many forms of magnesium can raise levels in the blood and body, very few seem to significantly increase magnesium concentrations within the brain itself. That's because the brain is protected by something called the blood-brain barrier. This barrier acts like a highly selective security system. It helps protect the brain from toxins, infections, and unwanted substances circulating in the bloodstream. Unfortunately, that protection also makes it difficult for many nutrients and medications to enter the brain. Researchers discovered that magnesium L-Threonate appeared to be particularly effective at getting magnesium into the central nervous system, leading to increased magnesium levels within the brain tissue in animal studies. This is what makes it unique compared to forms like magnesium citrate or magnesium glycinate. So why does brain magnesium matter? Magnesium plays an important role in nearly every cell in the body, including our brain cells. Within the brain, magnesium is involved in communication between neurons, learning and memory formation, synaptic plasticity, nervous system regulation, and protection against excessive excitatory signaling. One of magnesium's most important jobs is helping regulate NMDA receptors. These receptors are heavily involved in learning and memory, but when they become overstimulated, they can contribute to neuronal stress and dysfunction. Magnesium helps maintain a healthy balance. Researchers believe that increasing magnesium levels in the brain may support the formation of new neural connections and improve the efficiency of communication between brain cells. Interest in magnesium L-Threonate largely began with the research conducted at MIT. In animal studies, researchers found that increasing brain magnesium levels improved learning ability, memory performance, and synaptic density. These findings were impressive because the improvements were observed even in older animals, suggesting a potential role in age-related cognitive decline. Of course, animal studies don't always translate directly to humans. So what does the human research show? Several human clinical studies have investigated magnesium L-Threonate in cognitive function. One randomized control trial involving older adults with cognitive complaints found that supplementation with magnesium L-Threonate over 12 weeks was associated with improvements in measures of working memory, executive function, attention, and cognitive processing speed. Researchers also observed that participants with greater cognitive impairment appeared to experience the most significant improvements. Another study found improvements in cognitive performance in certain markers associated with brain aging. It's important to note that magnesium L-Threonate isn't a treatment for dementia, Alzheimer's, or other neurological disorders. However, the early research is promising and suggests that optimizing brain magnesium levels may support healthy cognitive aging. What about focus and mental clarity? One of the most common reasons people try magnesium L-Threonate is for brain fog, concentration, and mental clarity. Many users report feeling better focus, improved attention, less mental fatigue, and better memory recall. While more research is needed, these effects are biologically plausible given magnesium's role in neuronal signaling and cognitive processing. That said, magnesium threonate isn't a stimulant. You shouldn't expect it to feel like caffeine because the goal isn't temporary energy boosts. Instead, it's thought to support the underlying health and function of brain cells over time. Could it help mood and mental health? This is an emerging area of research. Low magnesium status has been associated with higher rates of depression, anxiety, and stress-related disorders. Researchers have proposed several mechanisms through which magnesium may influence mood, including its effects on NMDA receptor regulation, neuroinflammation, stress hormone signaling, and neuroplasticity. Some researchers have suggested it may have potential applications in mood disorders and neurological conditions. However, the current evidence remains preliminary and more high-quality clinical trials are needed. What dosage is used in research? Most clinical studies use about 1.5 to 2 grams of magnesium L-Threonate per day. When people hear that number, they often assume they're getting 2 grams of elemental magnesium, but they're not. Magnesium L-Threonate contains a relatively small amount of elemental magnesium compared to many other forms. For example, a typical research dose of about 2 grams of magnesium L-Threonate provides only about 144 milligrams of elemental magnesium. That's because the majority of the weight comes from the threonate molecule itself. This is an important reminder that when evaluating magnesium supplements, it's not always about the amount of elemental magnesium. the delivery system matters too. So who might consider magnesium L-Threonate? It may be worth discussing with your healthcare provider if you're interested in supporting memory, learning, cognitive performance, healthy brain aging, and focus and concentration. It may be particularly appealing for individuals who already have adequate magnesium intake, but are specifically looking for brain focus support. On the other hand, if your primary goal is constipation, muscle cramps, cardiovascular support, or improving overall magnesium intake, another form like citrate or glycinate or even malate may be more appropriate. Or you could take the L-threonate alongside these types of magnesiums to get all of the effects. So magnesium L-threonate is a unique form of magnesium that was developed to help increase magnesium levels within the brain. Researchers suggest it may cross the blood-brain barrier more effectively than many other magnesium forms, and early studies have shown promising effects on memory, learning, attention, and cognitive performance, particularly in older adults. The typical clinical dose is around 2 grams per day, which provides roughly 144 milligrams of elemental magnesium. While the research is encouraging, more long-term human studies are still needed. But among all the different forms of magnesium we've discussed so far, magnesium L-threonate is currently the one with the strongest focus on brain health and cognitive function. If you're enjoying this magnesium series, make sure you're subscribed and join our email list below. We put together a free guide comparing the most common forms of magnesium, including when to use them, typical dosages, and who they're best suited for. The link is in the description. And in the next episode, we're going to look at magnesium and sleep quality and what the science actually says. I'll see you there.